What's good, YouTube? Car Fight King here. Yes, it's another deck profile. Just getting these out to you guys before things get busy. But I wanted to bring you guys my Imperialdramon deck profile. This is a different profile than what I had originally played in the regionals, the top cut regionals last weekend. It was just improvements. I was working with my boy Nicky D. I was working with Tyler, who's the leader of Guy Force Gaming, on kind of just getting the build together. So this is the build that I'm running right now. I wanted to try out. Again, there's still a few things I'm still iffy on. I may want to change, but I'm gonna go through that as I go through the profile. So with the eggs. Pretty standard eggs, 4 different V1, but I'm running the Bukamon. So the Bukamon isn't here for the Dragon mode play, because when you play a Digimon from your source, you gain a memory. So when you go into Dragon mode and you spit 2 Digimon out, you gain a memory. So that turns Dragon mode into a 3-cost Evo instead of a 4-cost Evo. So that's really the reason why I'm running the Bukamon egg as my 5th egg. Rookies, 2 Madoki Betamon, really for the mirror match and mirror match, creepy loop, other decks that want to abuse memory and things like that, and just blue, obviously blue in general, blue counters in general. 2 of the top 4 certain V-Mon search for a dual color. I rather the free type in this version, but in probably my Armor Rush profile, which I'll show you guys, I like this V-Mon more in that one. 2 copies of the Star Deck V-Mon. Gives you some early game draw. I probably want to go with the BT8 one. When you unsuspend, you get to draw a card, but this is good for early game when you swing with like a Xv-mon or something and you're trying to build up your hand. Gives you an early draw then. 4 copies of the EX1 V-Mon. Really good. I love this one. When you unsuspend, gain a memory. Paildramon, you're gaining a memory. You're getting memory off of fighter mode. You're getting memory off of any dual color when you tap your Ken and Davis. I mean, honestly, this V-Mon is just so good and is used in so many different scenarios. And then last but not least, the starter deck V-Mon here. This one is starter deck 9. You search the top 3 cards for a free night to hand. So this pretty much hits any card that's not Madoki Betamon or Chimeramon in the deck. So really pretty accurate card there. But that's it for the rookie lineup. Going to the champions, 1 Lobomon, because we play Tamers, and having that 1 extender for 1 extra damage is really nice. 1 Magnamon. Having a blocker in the mirror match is very important, especially if you can get in the 9k. If your opponent's thinking about going to Paildramon, they can't. Otherwise the 7k is good because it blocks that initial Xv-mon swing, so that it'll force them to jog res and then get 2 swings. So pretty much at least you reduce their swing by 1. Plus is a card that you can use if it's just sitting there that you can jog rest with anyways. 3 copies of Paildramon. I cut a Paildramon out for Magnamon just to test it out, and I actually kind of like the change too. So 3 Paildramon, but he's really good for punishing opponents. Like if they hard play Gatomon, if you could just raise your V-Mon, Digivolve into this for 2, rest the Gatomon, swing over it. Just a really good punishing type of card using that green side of him. Otherwise he's a dual color, works very well with the Ken Davis if you pull him out of raising. With Ken Davis has 2 extra memory. So there's a lot of different ways in this deck you can use him. Plus he counts as a green and blue, so you can use him. He's very flexible for using for your Jogress plays into Dino B or Paildramon, because he can pretty much go with anything as long as you can pretty much go with anything because they can just use the green side for him. Or even with Stingmon using the blue side. 4 XV and 4 Stingmon. This is just probably the best XV-mon they've ever printed. Pretty much you just have jamming at all stages, and if you have a free type Digimon, you have jamming. This Stingmon is actually kind of cracked because he does reduce his play cost if you have a blue Digimon on the field, so he'll be 3. So when you set your memory to 3 with like a Davis or a Mimi, then you can just play him out, go to 0 Jogress, because Jogress is free, and do what you got to do there. But his 1 attacking effect is not once per turn. When you attack, draw a card. If you have a blue Digimon in play, on a normal like Paildramon turn or whatever it is, effectively with the Demi V-Mon egg, you can draw 4 cards off of essentially 1 stack. Xv-mon swings, you draw 1 off of Xv-mon. If you have like the other V-Mon in there, you could draw again. Then when you Jogress, you swing twice. Stingmon procs twice, you draw a few more, 2 more times, or you draw off the Xv-mon, then the Stingmon, then restand, draw off the Stingmon. This is about four draws, potentially 5, if who's counting. But this guy just fills your hand up with a bunch of cards, and just gets you to all of your extenders, gets you all your players. Like, secretly, I think this card is really busted, because this one lets you see the majority of your deck and why you can play so little megas, because this is the card that gets you to everything just from purely drawing. I think, and he's one of the few cards in this game that just purely just draw you cards. For the megas, I'm running 2 copies of Chimeramon. I like Chimera in the deck because, if you get caught with 2 Stingmons, you can Jogress into him. But the fact that you can put any Digimon on him, so you can put your Xv-mon under him, with Magmon in the deck, you can make him 4 colors in order to blow, and which could reduce something by 4, put him at 12, so then he becomes a viable attacker. And then you can Digivolve on top of him into like a Dragon mode or something like that. Just overall, just a very solid card. One Dinobemon, I'm just testing out Dinobemon because there are situations where I want to rest a card and maybe stun it to prevent it from actually doing anything to me on the turn. Obviously, you're playing against a Jogress match, you're just going to need to watch out for that. But the rest and stun can be important, even against X anybody, where you can rest and stun their cards so they can't actually unsuspend their blocker or anything. So it's just really good. But again, he's just a card testing, and he's a target to hit off your searching V-mons and your Davis. For Paildramon, because this card I think it was kind of poorly designed. I'm a big V-mon fan. I'm a big V-mon Imperial fan, through and through. If you guys been following the channel for a while, you know how much I love him. But this card was just yikes with design. I mean, when you Jogress, you get to bottom deck a 6k or less. That's pretty much every blocker in the game. That's a lot of just important Digimon and then you get to, when attacking, unsuspend once per turn. I mean, that's just an unchecked skill where you don't have to pay any memory, you don't have to sacrifice anything. It's just swing and restand. That's really good. So yeah, that is the level 5. This guy, Paildramon is really what makes the deck. The megas are kind of like the garnish on top, just to finish off the dish. 2 Dragon mode. I am a big fan of 3 Dragon mode, and I may play 3. But I wanted to switch to Dragon mode because with the amount of drawing that you're doing between the Demi-Vmon egg and the multiple draws that you get off of Stingmon and whatnot, I'm drawing into my megas. I'm drawing into pretty much every card. Unless he's in security, then it's but I am a big fan of 3 Dragon mode. So if you play 3 Dragon mode, I don't hate it, but I've been drawing a lot, so I can see 2 of them. 2 Fighter mode. I love Fighter mode. When Fighter mode hits the board, if your opponent can't really remove it, then pretty much anything they put on the board, Fighter mode is going to swing to security, tap that down, and then you can just swing over. So this card is really good with putting on the pressure with multi-attacks, but also with board control and doing that. And then when you Digivolve into him, you can bounce a 10k or less. I mean, that's whatever. You can do a play where you can go into Chimera, minus something by 10k, minus something by like 2 or 3k or 4k, whatever it is, then go into Fighter mode and bounce it back to your hand. So it's good for getting rid of cards that have like on deletion effects, like Ophanimon, for instance. So yeah, but those are the only megas we're running. I was running Paladin mode. Don't get me wrong, I love me some Paladin mode. One of my favorite Digimon, especially when I play Cyber Sleuth. I love my Paladin mode. The problem with Paladin mode is that while I did win a game at regionals with it, while I have been winning a few games with it, it just seemed to clog my hand. It's already hard enough kind of to get into your megas as a viable play. Paladin mode, like, while he does do something, he does give the opponent a lot of memory, I just, I'm trying to play without Paladin mode just to see how much faster the deck is without having him in the deck, and then feeling the need to climb there. He was more or less a board wipe and an extra out, like an oh snap button when I'm on one of my megas and I just don't really have a play and I need to get rid of my opponent's board or do something. So we'll see. I like Paladin mode, but this deck might be too fast for that card right now, but I think maybe next set with armor, with the Magnamon X Antibody and whatnot, I think that might be a more viable deck to try him out in. Option cards, hidden potential discovered. I think this card should be banned, and I'll tell you why in a second. Three Spark and 3 Megadeth. Those are the options I'm playing. I could play Ice. I could fit Ice Wall in here. I have been thinking about maybe cutting down to Megadeth, but I could play Ice Wall in here. But this is the lineup I'm going with now. Don't really miss Ice Wall, but I think it's definitely a nice card to have. But Hidden Potential Discovered, I think it should be banned. This card, if anything, magnifies how strong this card is, and when we get like Bloom Lord and BT8 and other things, this card is just absolutely nuts. Even if it's at 1, like, the fact is that I lost to this card in regionals and I won with this card in regionals. And I use the regionals as an example to magnify playing at the highest level possible in this game right now and taking games off of people because of one card that, when you're on 0 memory, you can create 2 to 3 extra attacks by using this card on 0 memory. You can swing Paildramon, restand it, go into Hidden Potential Discover, go into a Dragon mode, spit out 2 cards, tap Ken and Davis, restand the Dragon mode. That's 1 extra. And there's your attack. Then you have your Jogris play. You can Jogris into a Paildramon for an extra 2 extra attacks. So it's honestly a card where, it gives you that final push, that unfair advantage, because it's a 0 cost card. And again, you have a card where you can play it at 0 memory and still and literally create more bodies on board and more attacks. Again, this deck really magnifies how strong this card is, and it's only going to get stronger as we move on. Going into the Tamers last up, playing 1 copy of Mimi, 2 Davis Ken, and 2 Davis. The Mimi is in here. It's just an interest. Is a tech card I wanted to try out, and I did play this at the regionals. What it does is that she accelerates your gameplay. She memory sets you to 3, which is what you want anyways for your Stingmon plays and whatnot. But she also accelerates your gameplay because when you go into Paildramon or Dino B or even Chimera, you have a green source. You can tap her to raise something for an extra attack, or you can tap her to Digivolve an egg so that you're ready to raise the next turn. So she really just keeps the flow going, keeps the pressure on, the aggression going, and that's why I do like the 1 copy of Mimi in here. The 2 Davis is nice, but with all the V-Mons and other searching and whatnot, I feel like 2 Davis is still pretty solid. And then Davis Ken, I did cut him down from 3 to 2. He is good, but really, if you just have 1 on the board, that's really all you need, is really just getting one of these guys on board, and you're gonna have a ton of memory for days, along with Hammer Spark and all that, and then the V-Mon to restand manipulate memory. You're gonna have a ton of memory to work with, and you don't really need like a bunch of copies of this card on the board, like maybe like Armor Rush would need or anything like that, because the Jogris play already has a Digimon coming in unsuspended, so there's no real big threat to do this. But when you combine this with HPD and Dragon mode, it's definitely a broken play. But that's the deck profile, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm going to get up my Armor Rush deck profile to you guys, and then maybe later on down the line, I'll show you guys an updated Beelstar deck for the EX2 meta. I'm working on testing things with Beelstar, but I'm gonna show you guys that for the EX2 meta. And Beelzemon is on the way. All right, thank you guys for joining. Have a good night or day.